Okay, good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, September 25th, 2023. The time is 9:03 a.m. I'm going to call this special called meeting, the Bee County Commissioners Court to order. We're physically located at Bee County Courthouse, Commissioners Courtroom, number 110, 105 West Corpus Christi St, Beeville, Texas 78102. That was agenda item number 1, the call to order. If everybody please rise. Join Commissioner Olivares in a brief prayer.
Thank you. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Heavenly Father, enlighten us with your wisdom as we make decisions in this meeting. Help us to wisely evaluate our options and consider the pros and cons. Help us to be unified in making the best possible decision for our county and to effectively carry them out. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And the Texas Pledge. Honor
the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
I know, that's 1 for 1. All right. Restart the counter, everybody. We're now at agenda item number 4. This is recognition of visitors. This isn't public comment. This is where I get to say welcome. Thank you all for being here. Please keep coming back. If there's anybody that doesn't want to make a public comment that would like to identify themselves for a record, this is the opportunity that you have at this time to do that. Is there anybody who'd like to identify themselves? Sure.
Hi, my name is Mila Sykes. I'm a medical student from Texas A&M School of Medicine. I'm in my 3rd year, and I will be here for the week rotating urology clinic in the hospital.
Excellent. Welcome to the county, and I hope you have such a wonderful experience that you come back and you stay here until you're old and gray.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am. And is there anybody else who'd like to be recognized? Okay, moving on to Commissioner's Court opening remarks. Commissioner Olivares, you're up first, sir.
Okay, good morning, everyone. First of all, I'd like to start out with a little bit of recognition. So I'd like to recognize Jennifer Reyna. We had a meeting a couple of weeks ago to finalize our bidding process for the EOC building. And in doing so, one of the challenges was, I'll talk a little bit more here in just a bit. She, pretty impressive. She got up, opened up the set of drawings and looked at the loading of the EOC building and recognized that our generator building is kind of our generators are kind of marginal, so she pointed that out to the group. So great job on having the diligent catches it, yeah. So I think we identified a little bit that before as well. So I guess moving on to the same topic on the EOC building, the bids have gone out. So hopefully we'll have a good feel of representation of contractors submitting bids in. So things are looking good. Looks like the time schedule is going to work out as we had planned. One of the key things on the EOC building, I had the opportunity to make some site visits with the city of Corpus Christi. So I was able to see their county EOC building, got to meet with the people, got to learn some learnings from all the groups as far as what went well, what didn't go well, what they would do different. So very good as we move forward. Also met with the city EOC officials and got to talk to them as well, similar situation. And then thirdly, I met with the St. Pat and looked at their EOC building, which is under construction. Great learnings, great observation. The one common theme between all of them was generation. They wish they would have had a larger generator to do that. Anyhow, in Tynan Water, the work has begun. They're progressing well, so things are looking good there. Also, I had an opportunity to attend the Skidmore emergency. Well, it's actually the fire district number 4 meeting, their board meeting. So everything was good. All the funding looks great. Got to understand a little bit more about that process as well. I also attended the Skidmore ISD school board meeting. Things went well. Overall, it was a good meeting. And those are some of the highlights.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Feliz.
We had a busy week this past week. Tuesday, we had our our interview team for the IT build out, and on that Ms. Mattis is on there, Christina Cano, Jennifer Reyna, and Ben Ramirez, myself, and then Mr. Mercer. And we interviewed the references for the 2 contractors that bid for our job. We also interviewed both contractors, did all the screening we did, and then we scored after that, which will be coming up in the agenda in a little bit. Okay. The second part, let me see. Judge Bauer's office has the walls put up and the electrical outlets, and the data boxes for the internet will be installed this coming weekend. So we'll get her pretty much completed maybe by next week or by the end of this week, hopefully. All right. Received the equipment for the McClanahan house so they can have their internet to install their security cameras. So that's already in the works. Hopefully by this Thursday, they'll be connected to the Wi-Fi and have their security up for their building, so maybe protected a little bit more. AC for the Langley building, which is on the agenda as well, and moving forward, it's doing well. We'll have 3 bidders, and we'll decide on those in a little while. The big news is Blanconia Fire Department finally, after 6 years, made their payment to Lynn Steel, 9/21 of 23. Their steel will be delivered for the volunteer fire department on the first week of January, and they said it'll take 30 days to complete. So
That's January 24th?
this January 24th.
It's quite an increase in rate of completion.
Well, that's a pretty
5
simple.
years to 30 days.
5 years
It's like-
to complete the building?
Man,
Yeah.
good job.
The other thing in the precinct, TxDOT has also began demoing and replacing the bridge on County Road 421, which crosses Blanco Creek. And that's the boundary line for Goliad and B County there. And that's only about a 6-month build. That's a little over $500,000. Our in-kind for that is 10%, but it could be paid with any kind of drainage work in the county. So Road and Bridge, Mr. Arredondo's already got me pictures and all the items that are needed for the engineers in Garden City to start showing that we've got our in-kind already paid up in advance. So it'll cost the county taxpayers $0. On another note, BDA has received 3 applications for the director's position, and we'll be interviewing those 3 candidates this Friday for a BDA director. With that, I'll pass, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner DeWitt.
Thank you, sir. I want to start off some kudos for the sheriff's office and jail, and I'm not going to take their thunder because I anticipate that our chief deputy will talk during public comment about it. We've had a problem in the past getting jailers certified. There's a long process involved whenever they're working. They go through, they take the course online, then they have to go somewhere else to take the test, and because of the time lag, they haven't been passing the test. Well, that has all changed because of some initiatives that the chief deputy and our jail administrator have initiated, and they have a very, very good report for us today whenever it gets to that. So I will defer that to our chief deputy when it comes to public comment. I want to throw some kudos also at Commissioner Farias. He's being very humble this morning. If you haven't been by the Langley building and look at what has happened, it has been transformed from a building that was just there to almost a work of art with a new roof, paint, fence. The old building has been torn down next to it. There was a shed. It looks so much better. It's you get some kudos on that, sir, because I know you've kept your finger on top of that and ramped on it. It looks good. Looks good. Looks very good.
Thanks, sir.
It makes the whole neighborhood look better over there. All of you that have a farm or ranch know that whenever you get ready to do something, you do the preparatory work first before you go do the job. And I'm leading up to a fire that happened in North Peak County this last week. The solar and wind farm is a multi-billion-dollar operation. Okay, the wind turbines have been operating now for a little over a year, and they're in the process of getting the solar set up, and they're putting the boxes of solar panels in between the infrastructure. And what I'm leading up to as a farmer and rancher, you prepare the groundwork first before you do that. Well, they didn't mow, and they didn't clean. They just put the panels in rows. There's going to be 1 million panels, so there's a lot of rows of panels. Well, this last week, from what I understand, it's not confirmed, they were mowing and a spark caught the grass on fire and burned up 70 or 80 acres of materials. Now, I don't know how many panels are in a box, but as you drive down the road, you can see them stacked, and they're about 7 or 8 tall, and they're 30, 40 foot apiece. And when you see the smoke and the amount of material that was burned, I don't know. They've been snake bit because they had one truck turnover coming from Pettis to Mineral, and it ruined a whole truckload of panels. And there were probably 2,000 panels in that truck. So they keep getting set back, but you would think an operation as large as that would prepare everything before they put those things on the ground. Anyway, that's just an aside. So if you saw smoke coming from up there, from what I understand, it burned between 80 and 100 acres. And then it makes you beg the question, okay, if that grass grew under that infrastructure, are they going to have to sterilize that soil? Because if you put the panels up, they're going to be about, let's say, 7 feet off the ground. And if you get a fire under that heat is going to get them. So they're going to have to do something up there. Just FYI. Some more good news this morning. This court has been working for years to reclaim the building that is on the property next to Road and Bridge Maintenance Yard. 30 years ago, 35 years ago, TxDOT and BCAA, Big Community Action Agency, said we need a maintenance building. The county said, well, put it right here on our property. Well, they did. And they built the maintenance building on county property. We've been working for years to have that maintenance building turned over to the county. Road and Bridge needs it. It's getting real close. I was on the phone this morning with Martin Aurelius with Real, who took over from BCAA. They're wanting to get this done very quickly. There's TxDOT money coming down to do this, and we're going to be forming a committee, and I'm hoping that Commissioner Oliveris will be on said committee since it's in his sandbox, and try to get this done. They were here about 6 months ago. We talked to them about some possibilities. I went with them to the former sheriff's office and jail, looked at the site. They were pretty excited about that. When I talked to them this morning, they still are. And what the court is going to have to do, and I'll try to have it on the next agenda, they realized after the fact that whenever you put something on somebody else's property, it kind of belongs to them. So now they say the property has to be deeded to them, and then they will put a facility on it. Well, we can put a codicil in the deed that if they ever changes the use of it, it reverts to us, but that's another story for another time. But I'll be bringing to the court the recommendation from the committee on land that we can possibly say, okay, here's some land you can put it on, we'll go from there, see what the court thinks. But that is moving along. He told me that it's going to have to move fast. They're going to let the consultant that they had here that day decide exactly what they can and can't do. He was there with us when we looked at the facility. They anticipate the money being available in December. So we're going to have to fast track this because it's going to take a while for the consultant to look at the facility, look at the land. So be thinking about any land that the county may have that we might could say, okay, you can put it here. They're going to need an open space. They're going to need quite a bit of parking. The thing that we have to look at where the former sheriff's office and jail is the traffic for the hospital. Because when I was there with them, they said, we want to expand our operation and do a lot more with people on food days, where they bring in food and they put it in the vehicles. So there could be 100 vehicles parked going through there. So that's something we need to consider. But anyway, that's very positive, and we'll try to have a meeting this week. I know the auditor's excited about being on the committee.
Look at that.
Anyway,
How about that?
with that, sir, I will pass to my right.
Boy, went out with a bang, huh?
Yeah.
I attended the first responders dinner that Mr. Galloway puts on, and I want to thank Mr. Galloway for doing that. We had first responders from B County, Live Oak County, Mullen County, and Goliad all there at the expo. That was a good deal. I attended the meeting with Commissioner Olivares, and then with the scoring committee setting the parameters for the bids that are going out again for the EOC.
got with Jesse Hernando about some brush pickup. Blueberry Hill is out there riding around. It's starting to stack up pretty thick. So he said they'd be out this week sometime. So I let all the Blueberry Hill residents know. So if they needed to get stuff trimmed or whatnot, to do that and get it picked up. There were some questions about where to properly dispose of prescription medication. Let the people know that you can go to the sheriff's office, or we have a drop box here in the courthouse. So that was taken care of. I want to thank the Beeville County Sheriff's Office, the Beeville PD, and the BISD police. There was an incident last Thursday afternoon where a 26-year-old male subject had gone into the El Obrero store to go steal some candy and a Dr. Pepper. And in the process of doing so and trying to get away, he had shoved the owner out of the way and assaulted her. And anyway, long story short, they acted extremely quick and apprehended the guy, took him to jail. He's booked and sitting in a nice little cell. So thank you guys for doing all that. Had a call yesterday about a water line in Blueberry Hill. It was broke, city water line, so I contacted City Councilman Mike Willow, and got a hold of PD and got the city water crew out there. Get that fixed. I want to thank Robbie Guerrero and Victor Gomez for helping me yesterday on a Sunday. There was some illegal dumping on Vigo Road 351. One got it all picked up, taken care of. So thank you guys for doing that. The El Obrero store project coming along. Robbie and I have been out there multiple days till 9, 10 o'clock at night trying to get this done. Saturday we got the walls, the ceiling, shelved, everything painted up. We still got to do the floor yet. And then last thing to do is do the restocking with the GoFundMe that Mike Rodriguez had opened up and started. We're going to take that money and probably go to Sam's and get everything to restock. So, yeah. And then with that being said, there's also going to be a soft re-grand opening, and it'll be October the 4th at 3 p.m. And we had to do that during the weekday so that the chamber could be out there. So we'll have Chamber of Commerce out there with the ribbon cutting, and Mayor Watson and any volunteers that have been helping that can make it at that time. And also everyone is invited to come out for it. So we had another successful movie night for the community this past Saturday. Want to thank Ruben and Veronica de la Garza. They brought the popcorn trailer out. Normally I provide everything, but I thought, you know what? Let's get other people involved as well. So I asked Ruben if he'd bring the popcorn trailer out, and just to get more exposure for him as well out there. So that went well. And we showed Facing the Giants, which it was good. And there was a lot more people that came the second time. So it's just growing and growing and growing. So that's a good thing. So we're all just trying to decide what we're going to show in October. So any suggestions, let me know. All right. And that is it.
Excellent, thank you, Commissioner. Let's see, I had to go through my calendar a couple weeks ago. After our regular term Commissioners Court meeting, I attended a B Area Partnership Board meeting. B Area Partnership is our lead economic development arm in the county. It's a public-private entity that utilizes resources and funds from the Bee Development Authority, which is a redevelopment authority that manages the old Chase Field industrial complex, the city of Beeville, and Bee County, and Coastal Bend College, and then private partners if there's any local businesses or any businesses that may not be local but that do business locally and you'd be interested in participating or seeing how you might be able to be a larger part of the B Area Partnership, please don't hesitate to reach out to the BAP. I don't have any of their numbers, but they do have a website, I believe. You just look up B Area Partnership on the Google, you'll probably find it. It's a good meeting. There is still a lot going on, even in this rising rate environment in the community, and Randy Seitz is doing a good job chasing down those leads for the benefit of all of us. That Tuesday, Commissioner DeWitt and I convened in Corpus Christi for a executive board meeting of the Coastal Bend Council of Governments. The purpose of that meeting was to, I guess, let me go back a little bit so you'll have some context. The Coastal Bend Council of Governments covers, is it 13 or 18 counties? 13 counties in our region. There's a Coastal Bend Council of Governments that serves every county in the state of Texas, and ours is the Coastal Bend Council of Governments. Since inception until this summer, we've had one executive director, a wonderful gentleman who graciously stepped aside, resigned his post this summer, and we started the executive committee with the consent of the whole board, started the process of finding a new executive director. We kind of got off to a quick start, and after spending some time considering the methodology and the mechanisms and the plans that we had put into place to find a replacement for Mr. Buckner, the executive committee wanted to consider bringing in another regional group, in this case Workforce Solutions of the Coastal Bend, which again is a multi-county entity that falls under the ambit of the Texas Workforce Commission, whose job and purpose is to connect employees with employers and to assist in all aspects of that process. So we had an executive board meeting at the Workforce Solutions, the Coastal Bend new center, which was really great center. It's on Ayers Street, close to Crosstown Expressway. Is that right? Yeah. They don't have any signage up yet, so it's still kind of incognito, but they're going to be opening up pretty soon. And the end result is that the Texas, or not the Texas Workforce, but the Workforce Solutions of the Coastal Bend is going to assist the COG with developing a modernized and more complete job description, as well as assisting us with identifying, sourcing, locating, interviewing, and vetting potential candidates for this incredibly important position. The thing that in Commissioner DeWitt, if I gave the floor back to him, he could regale you with, he's been on the COG Solid Waste Committee for 20 plus years. And it's an important function of the COG. The part of the COG that everybody should know about and know that they're in charge of is they are our chief 911 facilitator for this region. So this is an incredibly important organization. They also run down grants. The recent Hurricane Harvey federal grant funds that flowed through the Texas GLO to the COGs and then were distributed in accordance to a plan of distribution also flows through the COG. So it was a good meeting, and it was a positive meeting. We're hoping that as a result of this, we're going to end up finding a new executive director that can really take the COG to the next level. This past week, on Tuesday, I attended a Board of Trustees meeting for the Coastal Plains, which is our local MHMR contractor. Coastal Plains is a wonderful entity. They have a facility on the south side of Beeville, a very nice building. They provide all sorts of resources to our community for individuals who need it. Mental health is an issue. I'm sure if I gave the floor to Chief Deputy Jones, he could regale us with the constant impact that mental health issues in our county play in his jail, on the street. We know, we've seen, recently, how mental health can impact an individual's life. When mental health intersects law enforcement, when mental health intersects the orderly activities of society. There's lots of big issues and big problems with it. You can't force somebody to be treated for mental health. They have to voluntarily want to do that without court order. And so it's a constant struggle, but Coastal Plains is a great partner, and they do a very good job of providing the services that we need. So it was an interesting meeting. Then on Friday, I attended a CEO Council meeting. This is for Workforce Solutions in Coastal Bend. The CEO Council is made up of county judges and Mayor Guajardo of the City of Corpus Christi, which is the overarching administrative body for Workforce Solutions. There is a board of directors of Workforce Solutions. There'll be an agenda item on that coming up in the agenda today, which is more involved with the day-to-day, and I know that's a misnomer from a corporate law perspective, but the day-to-day guidance of Workforce Solutions overall. The CEO Council meets quarterly or as is necessary to approve large contracts, to understand how things are going, how they're impacting our counties, and how we can better deploy the resources of Workforce Solutions to our county. B County does have a Workforce Solutions office. It's located at Coastal Bend College. It's a great entity. They have wonderful programs and opportunities both for employees and employers. If you're an employer and you're looking for employees, but you don't know, maybe you're a new business, maybe you have a new department or division, you should reach out to Workforce Solutions because they may be able to provide some type of cost sharing, some type of child care assistance. In fact, Workforce Solutions' greatest use of its public funds is to provide child care services to employees so that those employees may re-enter the workplace. So anyway, there was that, and then at 2 o'clock, again, Commissioner DeWitt and I had a meeting of the Coastal Bend Council of Governments Board. That was a fun meeting. I'm kind of surprised you didn't say it. You must have been leaving it to me. Commissioner, thank you.
You did such a good job.
Oh, I don't know about that. Everybody's eyes are glazing over, but I'll take the compliment.
When you start talking about the big check you accepted, they'll
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I think everybody's going to get really excited now. Sorry,
It was a big
nobody's
check.
excited
Big
about
check.
me talking. So Dawn Buckingham, which is our Texas Land Commissioner, she was actually in town to present checks related to that GLO, Federal Hurricane Harvey Fund distribution. And these are initial grants. B County has 4 applications in for 4 projects dealing with flood and drainage in the county. We have not been awarded any funds yet, but we're hopeful that we'll get a green light soon too. But the city of Beeville did, to the tune of excess of $2 million. Unfortunately for the city, unfortunately for me, the city was unavailable to be in person, so I was nominated by the group of people there to go down and get my picture taken with the land commissioner holding a big check for the city of Beeville. So it was a lot of fun. And the only other item of note with the CBCOG meeting is that the entire board, without issue, approved the executive board's plan for moving forward to find a new executive director. So again, CBCOG's a very important entity, and it's difficult to get out of town and attend those meetings, but it's wonderful to be able to be around all of our other county judges, other commissioners, other mayors, other city councilmen that are in our 13 county region, and get a little bit better insight into what's going on a regional basis. I think I'll just stop talking at this point in time, otherwise I'll really derail this meeting. And we'll move on to public comment. This is agenda item number 6. If there's any members of the public who'd like to address the Commissioner's Court, now is the time. Please signify by raising your hand, and I'll... Oh, Chief Deputy Ronnie Jones, you have the floor, sir. And don't forget to identify yourself for the record.
It's okay, we'll talk right here. Just Ronnie Jones, Chief Deputy.
Thank you.
Lieutenant Emily Martinez. The jail administrator wanted to be here. She had a personal matter. The sheriff is just very, very proud that we graduated 7 jailers that are certified by the state of Texas. Through this class we just had, the lieutenant worked closely with the class. There were 12 in there, I think 11
11 ended.
11 ended the classics. They all passed. Usually we have to do it online. It's harder that way. People fail. We've been trying to get a class, which is harder than you think. Having jailers that you can let off of shift to go to a month-long class is not easy. We were able to get other counties. Some counties fell through, but we were able to get it done. We're very proud of it. Hopefully do it again. I just want to say you have 7 new jailers, and hopefully they'll work out great.
This is your first jail academy, but
Yes.
it was very successful.
First one in the region, as far as I know, in the last 10 years.
And Del Mar sent an instructor to
Yes.
our jail to do the
He happens
class.
to be one of our reserves, the director of law enforcement down there, so it works out real good. We work out together. We've had trainings before, but not with the jail. And we really want to be a regional hub as far as training is concerned with our new training room, which is great. So
I'd also like to add, I don't know if they told you, but one of our officers that passed at Del Mar actually made the highest score that Del Mar has seen.
Oh, wow.
So we're very proud of her.
Awesome.
doing good things, and we're just, Sheriff is real proud of that one you mentioned.
Thank you, Chief Deputy.
If I could add on to that just a little bit, people don't realize how much extra work that puts on the sheriff's office and jail, because like they said, these people have their regular jobs too. So they have to take them and do all this extra work, even though they're right there. And they all did it, not a complaint, but everybody's very proud of the work y'all did.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good job. Are there any other members of the public that would like to address Commissioner Stork at this time? Okay, moving on.
Item 11.
No, not yet.
Item 11.
Do you want to discuss during,
Item 11.
why don't you just tell us what you want to tell us in public comment? No, right now.
Oh, right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We can remember.
That's good.
I'll take notes too.
My name's Joe Carter. I'm here speaking about item 11. I have, in a few days, it'll be 30 days since I bought my home and lived in the same place, or on the same residence. And in a few weeks, it'll be 37 years since I married my wife. Same place, same life, for that many years. That's a pretty good record. Over that time, I've taken a lot of notice of all the trends and so on. And generally, I've recognized when there was a change in trend in the quality of the house business, the appraisal district. That began to happen about 2014, and it coincided with a number of other things. It got so egregious that I had to, just to be responsible, I had to protest my appraisal twice since then. And when I drilled into that, I found a number of things that were deficient, and I began to investigate very seriously a year ago, July, and attend consecutive board meetings. They asked me, well, how are we doing, and all that kind of stuff, and I told them, and they said, well, can you write that down? And so I did, and I advised them and the appraisal firm, and there's a long list of deficiencies, and so it was not addressed, and so it's time for a new board. And I've submitted to you, and in the last board meeting, the gentlemen came and identified themselves, the slate of directors that we wish for you to nominate. I'll be glad to support anything I say, answer any question you have, file any affidavit of fact with witnesses and evidence. I hope you will adopt that nomination. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carter. Is there anybody else? Mr. Keeney?
Item 11.
I approached here back in 2007, and at the time I was a little surprised to see the population decrease, and that's a problem that has not been solved. It's continued, and it's gotten worse, okay, to a degree. And part of the problem, there are many good things that go on in the community. Number one, it's so nice to live in a place where there's six cars in front of you in a traffic jam, versus 60,000 like it was in Washington, D.C. You have no idea how miserable life is up there. But as a result of that, though, I've gotten used to the community, etc. The one thing that's a big surprise is the property taxes, because the property taxes have gone crazy over the last few years. and it's very bad. There have been increases in businesses where it's 100%, 200%, 300. In one case, I even heard it was up to 800%, whatever it was. It was a very substantial increase. I've never heard of increases like that any place in the country, any place I've ever lived. That is not, and in fact, there was a Supreme Court thing back in the 1820s with John Marshall, who was the first Supreme Court justice for chief for about 30, 40 years. And basically the state of New Jersey was taxing the federal government because they were feuding with Washington, D.C. Surprise, surprise. And what happened was they went to the Supreme Court and he ruled ultimately against New Jersey. He said taxing can destroy, and taxing can destroy communities. This has happened repeatedly throughout the various things, and there are examples of that, and I'm not going to go into it, like in places like in North Dakota, some places out in the Midwest, etc., where it's actually destroyed counties and communities. I mean, the county's still there, but the population is substantially gone. You have more wildlife than you have people there, or even cows. So that's something that needs to be addressed, and it's a big thing. And when I was a kid, not in a million years would I ever say I'm going to move to Beeville, Texas someday, and in my retirement I'm going to want to be on the appraisal board. Number one, it's not very popular. Number two, it's kind of a thankless job. But I've had major contracts, sometimes hundreds of millions of dollars, and I've done this over and over again. But basically, you can work with contractors, but you have to establish the fact that the board's in control, they're not in control. And I think that's part of it. It could be benign neglect. They don't pretend to have all the answers, whatever. But I've worked through many times where organizations were failing because of the contractors and because of lack of direction, a lack of decision on the board or whoever was in charge, the program manager or the project manager. So it really comes down to understanding the law. It comes down to being decisive and coming up with good intelligence and training your people. Your people need to do this, and also having standard operating procedures. And the people over there, some of the managers, they've already gone on record saying we don't need standard operating procedures. We can do whatever we want to. Well, okay. You ever hear of the U.S. Army about 100 years ago? Well, actually, when I went from the cavalry to the mechanized army, well, guess what? There was a major change because you had a bunch of very uneducated soldiers. Suddenly, they were in a position where they had automatic weapons. They had internal combustion engines. They didn't have horses anymore. They didn't have to feed them hay. They had to feed them gasoline, etc. And so the Army actually went through and they developed standard operating procedures. And they reduced it to something very simple. In fact, they used what they call the KISS principle. K-I-S-S, keep it simple, stupid, because if you're not, I am. That's their expression, not mine. And that's one of the very first things that you learn when you're in any form of management in the military. And you absolutely have to adhere to that because you need to reduce things so the employees understand their mission, they understand the parameters, etc., how to escalate things and how to work through things. If the contractor system is producing funny results, which it is right now, and there's no doubt about that, but it's still circumstantial. By that I mean is that the only way to narrow this down is basically to get into the system itself and determine exactly what it's doing. Because there are over 137 counties, and so I think there's a lot of slippage and some funny things happen. They're trying to make every county a mirror image of 136. That's a bit of a problem, but again, like I said, it's circumstantial. That appears to be things, and you have like a confidence level sometimes of 40% when you do statistical sampling. Well, in the U.S. government, if you don't get 98 or 99%, their level will lop your head off, And you just simply cannot do that. Okay, you cannot be doing this when you're dealing with real money, etc. 40%, that's like flipping a coin. When you flip a coin, it's 50% probability it's going to be heads or tails. 40% is no confidence. It's sort of like saying, gee, Dad, the kid, I come home and I had a great day, Well, how'd you do on that test? I got 40%. I mean, you only got 40%? That's pretty bad. He says, well, no, but I got 40% right. That's the good news, It's sort of like going to a surgeon saying, would you operate on me because I need to have brain surgery? Well, what's your record? Oh, I get 40%, I get it right 40% of the time. Well, you can't have mathematics working that way. I'm sorry. You just simply cannot. It just doesn't work. It's not scientifically valid. In fact, it falls in the category of ludicrous. And when you get samples that are 40, 60% confidence level, that's ridiculous. That's totally unacceptable in any business that I can imagine. And so I think there's some real problems. Now, I'm not suggesting get rid of the contract or anything like that. I'm suggesting is that let's understand what the law is. Let's establish policies. Let us understand what we need to do, and then actually write these things out and train people. You know, because I don't want to lose any employee that's working over there. You know, I just need to make the and if you establish clear procedures, okay, it actually protects the employee. But if it's like let's make a deal, that's a problem. And one last point is, and this is going to take a couple minutes, it's going to sound a little geekish, but a friend of mine, he has a PhD, and he did some legendary things in Silicon Valley. He ultimately moved to Washington, D.C. He's offered a very, very prolific job working for a major household name corporation. And he was able to work out of his home, and so he moved to Washington real quick. He has a multi-million-dollar house, and he started, on the side, he started his own company. And I've collaborated with him for years on technical issues, because I've had similar problems. I've developed major things, etc. Working for various agencies such as U.S. Treasury and Homeland Security, and then a part of for IRS. But the bottom line is that yes, there are standard ways of doing it. He and his wife wanted to move down to Beeville. And I kept on talking about, we had a traffic jam the other day, 6 cars, and he always compares that to the 60,000 he runs into, or the 10,000, and the traffic just doesn't move around that beltway. And so we did talk about it. He said he wanted to move, and I said, well, okay. I said, well, Beeville County is a nice place to live, with one exception: property taxes. Right now, it's somewhat out of control because they're increasing. It's almost like they're anti-business the way they're doing, because it's 100%, 200%, 300%. You just cannot increase taxes like that. It's I mean, these are sometimes in vacant buildings. They want to increase double, triple your taxes. I mean, how are you ever going to be a successful businessman when you don't have a business to begin with? What are you going to do with that? Everything's going to taxes. That's a very destructive process. So anyways, we talked about it. He was going to form another company dealing with something called quantum computing. Quantum computing is something you may or may not have heard of. Practically nobody understands it, but basically he's the only systems network architect of quantum computing in the world. He works with a lot of work that's done at Oak Ridge. Oak Ridge is in Tennessee, right next to Knoxville. Oak Ridge is where half the Manhattan Project occurred, and that's where the bulk of the research occurs today in quantum mechanics and everything quantum level. Now, to understand what quantum is, it would be an actual number of 6.0223 times 10 to the 23rd. So in other words, it would be 6, the 23 zeros after it. That's how small you're talking about. You can fit that into a very confined area, and you're talking about the molecular level. Well, the molecular level, what you have is, and again, it's not a physics or anything like that, but there were 2 Nobel laureates, and you've probably heard of one of them, Albert Einstein. He came up with the idea of using a very strange, bizarre principle called entanglement, and what it is for perfect encryption. And that was back in his general theory of relativity. And then in 1936, he wrote a paper saying, and he made a mistake. Okay, he wrote a paper saying that there's no way that entanglement can work, because this is too bizarre in nature. It's not that bizarre. And guess what? He did make a mistake. He said he was wrong with the mathematics when he was right. In 2002, it was proven that it was right, and we're beginning the process of using it for national security purposes, highly classified, for encryption that cannot be broken. It cannot be broken because nobody understands how it occurs. It's instantaneous. If you're a million miles apart, according to the mathematics, it will immediately transmit. And nobody understands exactly how it's transmitted, but nevertheless it does do that. So that's what he's involved with, and he would inevitably form another company if he moved down here. Now, it's not out, but can you imagine somebody like that moving into Beeville County and actually starting a business? But he's scared to death of the idea of moving to a place where property taxes are out of control, and I don't blame him. And I said, that's the one big liability. And he said, well, talk to me if it ever gets under control. So anyways, that's my point, is that you've got to grow. You either grow or you die. We are losing population, especially after this last year when they went ahead and increased the property valuation of single and double wide trailers. Okay, people are already moving away. It was one person that was living with his father, her father, and she had a single wife. And so she says, well, that's okay, Dad. I can't afford to make these payments and everything for the taxes. I'm just going to move out of the county. We do not want that. Randy Sykes, I think, is doing a great job. He's handicapped with that sort of thing. This needs to be fixed. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Keeney. Is there any other member of the public who would like to address Commissioners Court at this time? Okay, hearing none, we will move on. Agenda item number 7. The following items are of an administrative nature. Commissioners Court has been furnished documentation on each item, and all such items may be acted upon by one vote without being discussed separately unless requested by a Commissioner or County Judge.
Move to approve the comment.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Commissioner Smith, you have the floor.
On the first page under departmental reports, precinct 3 was left off the list. They have Jesse's P's 1, 2, and 4. 3 should be added to the next list. Unless they didn't turn one in.
Did they not turn one in?
They should be on the list. So I'll look into
They're
that.
pretty good about turning that in on a consistent basis.
Well, they hadn't turned it in, is
Okay.
what I remember from that list. They had a star next to their name.
Oh, that's why it's not on there.
Any further discussion?
Duly noted, thank you.
Yep.
Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, discuss and consider action on the following items. I'm going to reorganize the agenda. I'm going to move agenda items number 25 and 26 up in front of agenda item number 8. So I'll call agenda item number 25 this time. Approve request to use the B County Junior Livestock Homemaker Show Building Fund for the B County Expo Show Barn Improvement. Overhead door and barns.
Morning, gentlemen. Walter Shower, Show Superintendent of the B County Junior Livestock and Homemaker Show. There's a number of roll-up doors on the Lucas McNeil Pavilion that do not work. And we solicited bids as a show board, and the bid we selected to use is $1,475. And that is going to repair the doors that are broken and provide maintenance to, provide maintenance to all 18 of them. And that will be coming from our building fund account.
Excellent. Any questions any commissioners have? So this is in connection with the contract that we have with the B County Junior Livestock and Homemaker Show. They are one of our heavier users of the expo grounds, and they have primary control over the show barn. But one of the things that they have to do is they have to commit to utilizing a portion of the funds that they raise to maintain and improve the show grounds.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Thank you, Mr. Shower.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Agenda item number 26, approved proclamation designating October 1st through the 7th, 2023 as National 4-H Week. We've got some 4-H'ers. Don't forget to identify yourselves for us.
Yes. Hello, my name is Clara Rosnovsky, and I'm the B County Council President. Whereas the B County Commissioners Court is proud to honor the Texas 4-H Youth Development Program of the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service for 115 years of providing experience-based education to youth throughout the Lone Star State. And whereas this admirable program, which seeks to provide a learning experience for all youth through their head, heart, hands, and health, helps young Texans to acquire knowledge, develop life skills, and form attitudes to enable them to become self-directed, productive, and contributing members of our society. And whereas the program's more than 550,000 urban, suburban, and rural youth participants, ranging in age from 8 to 18, come from diverse ethnic and socioeconomic backgrounds and truly represent a cross-section of the state. And whereas the program undoubtedly could not have achieved the success that it has today were it not for the service of its more than 30,000 volunteers who have given generously of their time, talents, energies, and resources of the youth of Texas. Whereas, throughout its proud history, the 4-H program has developed positive role models for countless Texans through its innovative and inspiring programs, and continues to build character and instill the values that have made our state strong. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the B County Commissioners Court hereby designate October 1st through the 7th, 2023 as National 4-H Week in Texas, and commend the 4-H Youth Development Program of the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service and the many men and women who have made the program a success.
Well done. Thank you, Ms. Rosnowski. Would everybody that's here today on behalf of B County 4-H please identify themselves?
My name is Samantha Ziegler. I'm the B County Council Parliamentarian.
My name is Zoe Rios, and I'm the B County Reporter.
My name is Vanessa Healy, and I am the B County 4-H Council First Vice President.
My name is Luke Kozlowski. I'm the Health and Safety Officer. So my name is Ransom McElwain. I'm the Treasurer for B County Council.
Welcome, and thank you all so much. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Don't run off. I know everybody's very eager to get back to school, although a couple of y'all we've seen here now 2 or 3 times so far this year, so I'm not sure you really are ready to run back off to school, but we would like to get a photo with all of y'all. If there's no further discussion, anybody?
No, great, they did a great job, guys.
Great job. Y'all did
Awesome.
good.
Then
Very impressive.
I agree. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. And great job on everything. Come on up, let's take a quick photo. Why don't y'all slide on in? Intersperse yourselves amongst us. That's okay. Here, yeah, we'll do it just like that. Both of you will hold it a little bit. There you go.
Okay.
Is that like, do you want to
Oh,
go center or?
Yeah, I just don't want computers.
We're looking at my mom real quick, and then we'll go.
Are there computers?
Oh.
I think it's fine. I'll
Close our computers. Sorry.
Like all the way?
Yes, ma'am.
That one?
That's good. No, I got with that. Perfect. Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Good job. I tell you what, every
This one here with that tab.
When I was in high school. No, I had other stuff. We didn't have.
Do whatever it is that we do with those.
Class presidents.
Oh, that you were officer.
It's refreshing. It's good to see them.
Yes, they're really,
Oh,
they're really
we
great.
signed one. I don't know, we probably
Go
do
ahead and send it
one.
around, we'll sign it.
Okay.
Yeah, we can double it up.
We
for
can-
sure.
we can handle it.
I think it's a good idea. Okay, get my bearings, move on. Okay, now we're going back into our usual order. Agenda item number 8, thank you, sir. Approve expo request for auditorium fee waiver from St. Philip's Church for their annual auction on April 27th, 2024.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 9, approve expo request for pavilion fee waiver from Beeville Stingers for the helmets from Javi event on October 28th, 2023.
Move to approve.
I have a motion to approve.
I'll second with a question.
I have a motion and a second. Commissioner DeWitt, you have the floor, sir.
Is there someone from that group here?
I'm here.
Would you please explain to us what this is?
I was standing up ready. Thank
Oh,
you for the
excellent.
opportunity to speak. And I won't
This
keep
is
it
a strange
short.
name for a group, so
Okay, so I am the president of the Beeville Stingers, which is a local bike club that's been in existence for 13 years. 11 years ago, we lost the son of one of our members to an accident, and he did not have on a helmet. He laid in a morgue for 3 days while his parents looked for him. Their grief was palpable. To deal with the grief, they formed a nonprofit called Helmets from Hobby Foundation that honors their son and his love of cycling and the great outdoors. And the nonprofit provides helmets to children, bicycle safety classes, and encourages children to be out of their homes, off devices, on bicycles, and safely being out in the community, getting exercise, which in turn combats childhood obesity. We very early on decided to have this bike ride as a way to help fund the nonprofit and the giving away of helmets. Thank you. So over the course of the last 10 years, we have in this community given away about $8,000 to $9,000 worth of helmets. The most recent event that we did was at the Boys and Girls Club. We were able to provide 48 helmets for children there that day and talk to about 100 kids about bicycle safety. We've done the vendor, the market, that's down Saturday market. 2 times a year we set up there and we catch kids there. National Night Out is on October the 2nd. Last year we gave away 98 helmets just at National Night Out. So that's what we're about. And we're a small nonprofit. And for the benefit of B County, just so I can let you know, we have about 250 participants. About half of those spend the night and spend their money here in B County by staying in local hotels who are gracious enough to give me good rates. They spend their money at eateries here in town. I always direct them to the homegrown, home-owned, like Roma's, the Beeville Diner. We do our packet pickup at La Linea Bar and the distillery, so we bring them downtown there so they can be in those local businesses and spending their money there. We would go to Mr. Tyndall's place prior to his passing. He was a big supporter of ours and we dearly miss him. That's what we're all about. We're a local bicycle club who has chosen to honor one of our members who lost his life by funding our nonprofit, and we work diligently within that nonprofit to provide helmets to the kids here in Lee County.
Yes,
Very proud of our work.
Was Javi this gentleman's name?
Javi Garcia was his name. He was a wonderful man. He had moved to Albuquerque. We rode with him right before he moved, and he was headed home from work. He was a ICU nurse, and he turned a corner where a young lady was home from college because she was stressed out about college, and the street light was out, and he ran right into the back of that vehicle. One of the nurses was leaving work and saw what happened, and he died in her arms there on the side of the road. There was a little bit of a mix-up with the local police department, which they did eventually apologize for. It was change of shift. Nobody pulled his wallet, nobody pulled his phone, and he was taken straight to the morgue as a John Doe. He called his mother faithfully every day. That's the man that Javi was. And when she didn't get a call the first day, he had a new girlfriend. She kind of said, well, maybe. But by the next day, they had all headed to Albuquerque looking for him, and only because his brother was in the hallway asking his boss about the whole incident, and the nurse happened to hear him talking and said, does he wear a fedora? And then she started crying and said, he died in my arms night before last. And only then were they able to find him at the morgue. His parents' grief to this day is horrible. But through this nonprofit and us helping with the nonprofit, it does ease that. But in his name, we're able to do something good. And I know he's proud of us every day. Our event is October the 28th. Can I do a plug?
Please, I was hoping you were going to.
So October the 28th is our event. Packet pickup that night before is going to be at the distillery. It's going to be from 6 to 9. I welcome any of y'all to come by that
This is a
evening.
bike ride, right?
The bike ride. Okay. So that's the one that you pick up your packet with your t-shirt and all that the night before. The event is actually the 28th, and we'll be at the pavilion. I appreciate that y'all will be supporting us in this, because the more money that I can leave in the nonprofit and not have to pay that fee, the more kids that are going to have helmets. I'd love for any of y'all to come out. The ride takes off at 8:30. I'd love for you to come and welcome them to B County. I'll remind you, Judge.
Thank you. What time do you get started?
8:30. We take off at 8:30. Sorry, we'll be going all out through Chris's precinct out there, just by way of, where we're leaving from. It's a beautiful event. It's like nothing you've ever seen, and I'd love for all of y'all to come out to the pavilion and just take a look at what we do. We'll be there till like about 2 o'clock. We feed lunch to everybody as they come in. It's a 65-mile ride all out through the county, so riders come in at all kinds of.
I challenge all commissioners.
You know what?
I've got this knee issue, otherwise.
I'm a gray old grandma, okay? I can do it. Just joking. But thank you so much for this opportunity to speak to y'all. I'm very passionate about my work with the kids and getting them helmets. I'm going to crack that Thursday night group. It's the last thing I do, and get helmets on them too. But I appreciate that y'all are totally in support of this, because it's a beautiful cause, beautiful people, and I love that it's here in B County. I really do.
Thank you so much, Ms.
Thank y'all.
Richmond. Thank you for your presentation.
And I had to go to work. I'm so sorry to not
You may be
stay.
excused.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 10, approve expo request for auditorium fee waiver from Stockton Charco Cemetery for their fundraiser on March 10th, 2024.
Move to approve with a question?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. You're just out of luck there, Commissioner Farias. That went to Commissioner Lenny.
I was going to ask if someone's here to tell us about what y'all are doing.
Hi, my name is Diana Solis, and I am the president of our association for the Stockton Charcoal Cemetery. And I don't know if y'all know where Charcoal is. Charcoal is a little tiny, it's not even a town, but there's families still living there. And there's a little tiny cemetery there that recently, in the last 4 years, we have, family members, generations of my family, and lots of people there that have been buried there. It's a small cemetery, but it's historical now, because we have so many old people been buried there before. I'm sorry, I get so emotional, but it's been a long haul. We've been trying to get it together, try to get it fixed, put up fences, secure the area, because we've had vandalism. It's a small community where the money's not there, but we're trying to get together and trying to raise money for a lawnmower and things to clean up the area, and so I'm asking for help, because we're trying to get a little fundraiser going. And I know that Bingo here in town does very well, with all the people around here in the areas. And I live here in Beeville now. I'm a resident. I've been living here for almost 5 years now. So, and I love it. And a lot of our family members that were buried there were from here too. So I'm just saying that I would like to have y'all help us, to reduce the fee for the place, the rental fee. So with this, I'm just letting you know, I'm sorry, I get emotional, and this is the first time I've been here, so
You did
I'm
great.
very impressed.
Thank you so much,
With
Ms.
all of
Solis.
y'all. Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Commissioners. Y'all are, I'm really, really impressed with y'all, and I've never been in a place like this, so.
Well, come on back. We meet all the time.
This is your government in action.
And really just the prayer that we started with, we know that y'all are doing a good thing.
Thank you, Ms. Solis. Thank you for your time, and thank you for your efforts and the efforts of your group in maintaining and
Thank you.
The upkeep for Stockton Charco Cemetery. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. You're welcome to stay, but you're also welcome to go if you want to. Moving on to agenda item number 11, approve nomination of persons for a position on the Board of Directors of the B County Appraisal District.
Move to approve.
Wait, we don't have anything.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's all right, it's all right.
It's all right, you jumped right on out there.
I did.
So
I did.
we have some, and I'm going to open the floor to nominations in just a moment, but before that, there in your packet, you do have the letter that we received from the County Appraisal District. We also, Mr. Carter and Mr. Keeney spoke today, as well as at the last agenda, where they and three other individuals indicated a desire to be nominated. At this stage, the way this process works is B County, the City of Beeville, and the ISDs and the community college all have the opportunity to nominate individuals. Once that nomination process is complete, the appraisal district will then, that's a two-step process, the appraisal district will then distribute to all taxing jurisdictions, of which I think there's 18, 19, 18? 17? Man, I just didn't quite go. Oh, thank you. Well, these are the ones that, oh, okay. And yeah, so your votes are allocated depending on the percentage of levy as to the total levy. As I understand it, and I really don't, that's why I asked Mr. Carter, Mr. Keene asked for you to speak during public comment. I know y'all have a lot to say, and I appreciate it, and I love the passion. I just really don't want to derail the agenda item, and so that's why I wanted to confine your comments to public comment. However, if without too much explanation, Mr. Carter, I believe, correct me, and I just want to make sure that I'm not missing the boat. I don't want to make an unnecessary mistake. I don't want to make a necessary mistake. I don't want to make any mistakes, but I do all the time. The City of Beeville has nominated your slate. Is that correct? The slate that you presented?
I'm responding to your question. The City of Beeville has nominated that slate, those four new ones, and Mr. Paul San Miguel unanimously. The ISD has nominated them unanimously also.
Okay. So then that would, so not you though?
Not me.
Not you.
No, sir. I'm more of a research guy.
Gotcha. Okay. So we have, where it stands right now, before I open up the floor to nominations, we have the individuals who have come to the Commissioner's Court and expressed an interest, such as Mr. Keeney, in nomination to this position. They are, y'all are nominated. You will be considered by all taxing jurisdictions, regardless of what happens here today. So at this point in time, I'd open the floor to nominations.
Judge, if I could, can we discuss it a little bit?
We can, oh yeah, absolutely, we can discuss.
Looking at the letter from the appraisal district, you have Jess Staples, King Fuller, Amy Gatan, and Paul San Miguel, who are saying they're already on the board, that they are willing to serve again. And correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Carter, isn't Paul San Miguel one that's on your slate also?
Responding to your question, Commissioner DeWitt, he is on the slate. He was advanced to service. He's been there one term. He is the least tenured person there. During our times there, he came into a work session we had and demonstrated an interest in understanding what's going on and what the solutions are. And then Mr. Petrie, who wrote the letter, looked at my charges of the deficiencies in the appraisal firm, and he looked at 7 or 8 of them, and each one of them he said, I've examined this and I agree 100%, all the way down the list, and Mr. Paul San Miguel is there. Mr. Paul San Miguel, I think, was advanced into that, or nominated, and I'm guessing a little bit, by the city and the college. That's where I've got my feedback on him. And he is well recommended as a solution.
But my question was, he's on the slate that y'all
He is
recommend?
an existing person, and he is on the slate.
Okay.
And we recommend retaining him.
Did you have something you wanted to add, Mr. Keeney?
For a very simple reason. He was the only one who was interested in any form of process improvement and recognized there were deficiencies in the way things are conducted, business is conducted today.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Which is an important point.
Yes, sir. I don't know if any other of the existing appraisal board members reached out to any commissioners. Mr. Fuller did reach out to me and indicate that he is desirous of continuing on, and I know Amy Gaitan, we appointed her, I believe, 2 years ago, so she is as new as Mr. San Miguel. We also have Deb Castaldo present for the B County Appraisal District. Ms. Castaldo, you're not chief, you're interim chief, you're chief to be?
I'm the deputy in training.
Deputy in training, thank you. Do you have anything that you'd like to add to this discussion today?
I just, that, you know, we have a great board. Y'all have picked in the past. Those four are interested in continuing to serve. We are turning things around over in the appraisal district, and we are working on some of the items that we've seen over the past couple of years that need to be fixed.
Thank you, ma'am.
Judge, if I could, I received a call from a former board member, and he spoke very highly of these four people and how hard they worked, and asked that I take a hard look at trying to keep them in.
Okay. All four, Jess Staples, King Fuller,
Yes, sir.
Amy Gaitan, and Paul San Miguel.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
How many votes, or how do we distribute
We've got
votes?
1,359 votes that we can distribute any way we want. We can say distribute them equally among them. We can say all for one, however the court wants to do it.
The only thing we shouldn't do is equally apportion all our votes amongst all the candidates, because then that would just wipe out our vote.
Right.
I couldn't help myself.
You're exactly right.
I know.
Because right now, the two that he said have already voted is the BISD, and the BISD has 1,142 votes. City of Beeville has 344.
Is that wrong, Mr. Carter?
Yeah, correct that. They have not voted. They have nominated.
Well, they've nominated, okay.
The slate that you.
BISD nominated,
They have nominated.
NCBC nominated? No, the City of
The
Beeville.
city is tomorrow.
Okay.
The city is nominated. That's not voted.
Right, the voting will happen after all entities nominated.
Okay.
It's nominated.
So this portion strictly nomination,
Correct.
and then later on. we'll get back.
Yeah, for instance, 2 years ago, Commissioner, there were 10 individuals
Okay, I stand corrected.
that were nominated that we then voted on.
So this time, we're not saying, okay, so many votes for this one, that one. It's the nomination of the slate.
Yes, sir.
And do we need to nominate 4 or 5 or?
5.
5.
Right? Is it 4? 5. We can nominate up to 5.
And we have a list of 4 that are currently serving.
Yes, sir, that are willing to continue, sir.
And one of those, Paul San Miguel, has already been nominated. So there's a list of 3 individuals who are willing to continue to serve, who want to continue to serve, that so far have not yet been nominated. And I don't know if there's any other individuals, if anybody else reached out to any commissioners seeking a nomination.
Yeah,
Either.
that would have been great. It would make the decision a little bit easier, but.
Well, I don't.
They just put Ms. Gaitan on there last year.
Yeah. Right.
And
She's new.
from what I understand, she's done a good job.
Do we have to nominate 5? Can we nominate less than 5?
You can nominate less than.
I mean, if I'm just going to throw it out here, if our purposes are served by being able to consider everybody at the time of the vote, then duplicate nominations don't indicate anything. They don't, well, maybe they indicate something, but they don't mean anything. Right?
Judge, based upon what you just said, I want to nominate Jess Staples, King Fuller, Amy Gaitan, and Paul San Miguel.
Okay, are there any other nominations?
I'll nominate Mike Kinney.
Okay. Any other, no, that's 5. Any other nominations? Any other people that you want to put forward for consideration?
So we can't, see, we can only do 5 nominations total.
You haven't voted to determine which 5 yet, though.
Yes.
No.
No.
Okay, so procedurally, I have opened the floor for nominations, and procedurally, I have received 5 names to be considered for nomination. So once that nominating process is complete, then I will close nominations, and if we only have 5, then I'll just take a vote to approve that slate as our slate of nominees.
But you could have 8.
We could, if we were considering 8 individuals and in our nomination time frame, then I would close the floor to nominations, but I would need a motion for the specific 5 that we would actually be voting on. That's procedurally how this process works. We're not there yet. Right now we have 5. Are there any other individuals that anybody would like to nominate or consider for nomination?
I'll consider Mr. James Taylor.
Okay. James Taylor, Michael Keeney, Jess Staples, King Fuller, Amy Gaitan, and Paul San Miguel.
I'd like to add Ernie Hurst to that, please.
Ernie
We
Hurst.
can nominate 2.
Excuse me.
We can nominate
You
more
can
than
nominate?
one.
No. Yeah, you can, yes. If y'all want, whatever names you want, just throw them out, guys.
Okay. I'll go ahead and nominate Brian Harwell.
Okay. Are there any other names you wish to consider? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to close nominations.
So moved.
I have a motion, I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Nominations is closed. Now, at this point in time, we have the ability to actually nominate 5 individuals, and we have a list of 8. We have, in this list of 8, Mr. Harwell, Mr. Taylor, Mr. Keeney, Mr. San Miguel, Mr. Hurst, are already going to be on the slate. Mr. Staples, Mr. Fuller, Ms. Gaitan have not, as far as I understand, have not yet been nominated to the board. At this point in time, I can open the floor up for further discussion.
Nominate Amy Gaitan.
We've already, she's in the group. So if there's any more discussion that y'all want to have about which out of these 8 you want to select 5, otherwise I'd entertain a motion. But the motion needs to state the 5 individuals that you are proposing we take a vote on to nominate to the board.
To tie into what you just said on discussion, it's my understanding that these other folks are already nominated, so they will be on the ballot.
Correct.
Period.
That is my understanding as well.
And what we're trying to do is put people on the ballot so that the total taxing entities can do their vote according to their number of votes that they have
That's how I understand.
at a later date.
Yeah, correct. Even if we didn't vote, if we didn't nominate anybody, we still get to vote on the slate, which would include, at this stage, several of these individuals, but not all. That makes sense.
I'll go back to make a motion for James Staples, King Fuller, Amy Gaitan, Paul San Miguel, and James Taylor.
Jess Staples and James Taylor?
Yes.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to nominate James Taylor, Jess Staples, King Fuller, Amy Gaitan, and Paul San Miguel. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. I think from the non-verbal ayes there. Gentlemen, thank y'all.
Thank you.
We look forward to I'm not sure when the voting process is actually going to occur, but I think it would be incredibly valuable to interact with you, Mr. Carter, as well as any of your slate that you're interested in getting those votes on. So I know it's a little bit of a short time.
Right, but at the public notice or elsewhere or?
Earlier, before the meeting, just so we have time to consider it. Thank you for everything. Thank you, sir, for everything that you're doing. Okay. That was agenda item number 11. Well done, gentlemen. Thank you. Agenda item number 12, approve first contract renewal participating entity services agreement for the statewide automated victim notification service, SAVNS, contract number 20222344900-535-01 between B County and Apris Insights LLC. You got the numbers right, and I mispronounced that.
Move to approve with some numbers.
Thank you. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Commissioner DeWitt, you have the floor.
From what I read, the contract service is $1,416,555. Participating counties, which is us and 2 other counties, we have to pay $472,185, so the grant would be $944,370. Our portion is $264,397.18, which is a little up from last year.
Yes, sir.
If I'm reading it correctly.
You said the 18,000, right? You said 18,030? Is that one of the numbers? Because that's my budget number. And the 4,000, that $4,000 number you said is the 4 quarters that we pay.
Hold on real quick. Ms. Gantu, we're on the agenda right before that. This is a savings grant. This is TIDC. That's okay.
Okay.
Do you have numbers for this one?
No, I do
Oh, I do.
I have numbers for that. What auditor has the numbers?
What are our numbers?
I'm sorry.
18,030?
Disregard everything I said.
Stricken from the record.
Stricken from the record.
Okay, so 18,030 is what's in the budget, and this is paid out quarterly, and then we receive reimbursement from this service, and of course, this grant has been going on for some years.
Excellent. Thank you, Madam Officer. Any further discussion? I was writing notes. No, that's okay.
I'm ready for the next one.
I know what's going to happen in the future. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Agenda item number 13, approve and accept the Texas Indigent Defense Commission fiscal year 2024 Statement of Grant Award for Improvement Grant number SG-23-004 to support the Regional Public Defender Office serving B, Live Oak, and McMullen counties.
Judge, I'll move to approve with some numbers.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. Commissioner DeWitt, you have the floor.
The numbers that I have, that the contract services is $1,416,555. Participating counties, which there are 3, is $472,185. For the grant is $944,370. B County share is $264,397.18 that we have to pay. I also make note that looking at the salaries that the attorneys are drawing, anywhere from $150,000 down to about $85,000, and we need to keep in mind these are, as a general rule, attorneys coming from other states to here is what I understand has been happening. They're coming here and learning. They're what they call baby attorneys. You know more about this than I'll ever know, and they're learning, and this is a thing that where the state says if you're indigent, your attorney is provided. This provides that attorney. It helps pay for it because it has to be done anyway, and it's turned out to be a pretty good thing overall.
Thank you, Commissioner DeWitt. Just one quick on the salaries.
Yes,
those
sir.
numbers. When they put this together, and I know y'all don't have the benefit of seeing it, but it's just a breakdown of salary levels. These include fringe benefits.
Okay.
Because I took some umbrage to I thought about changing career paths.
I mean, it's a pretty nice salary.
Even including the benefits, it's a good salary, but including benefits, which is about 36% of it, it does reduce it back down to what is more reasonable in the realm of public legal services. The overall cost has gone up this past year. TRLA has struggled with some increased costs when it comes to staff, specifically with their attorneys. TRLA, the lawyers at the Texas Rio Grande Legal Aid are unionized, which is a rarity in the state of Texas and a great rarity in the world of law. But that is what it is, and as a result of that, there have been some necessary increases to be able to service the three counties But that being said, the interaction between the Texas Indigent Defense Council, which is the state agency that provides these grants, and TRLA and B, Live Oak and McMullen County remains strong, and TIDC continues to support these additional needs. And as the keeper of the funds, I know that if they had a very big issue with what we were trying to do, then they would tell us that this budget amount is too much. So I don't like things going up, but I guess that's just the nature of.
One actually went down from 109,000 to 100. What's our, okay.
Yeah.
What?
And some of the more senior attorneys, they've been longer. But any further discussion?
Numbers are interesting, so
We done?
yeah, I'm done. Totally.
If there's no further discussion, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Agenda item number 14, approve regional public defender services contract between B County and Texas Rio Grande Legal Aid, Inc. Before a motion is made, if I could take a moment just to provide you with a brief update. In your packet, you have the changes that I had made. The way this process worked, TRLA submitted to me proposed revisions to the contract. I accepted those that I thought made sense. I rejected those that I did not like. And I made additional changes as well that I thought were necessary and beneficial to the county for the provision of these legal services. There is one issue that is still unresolved. It's paragraph 13, I believe. And I'll just highlight it for you, and I want to put it on the record so that we're all on the same page here. It is a meaningful addition, but the way that I've drafted it, the way that I revised their draft, it's paragraph 13, assignment, is a misnomer. And so when I do request a motion, I'd ask if the Commissioner's Court is comfortable allowing me to finalize the language of paragraph 13 with TRLA and then move forward with executing the agreement. The issue on paragraph 13 is assignment. I understood that provision as TRLA asking for the right and the ability to assign cases or groups of cases in one or more of our jurisdictions to private lawyers to help. One of the things that TRLA is struggling with is attorney retention. How do we get an attorney to come into a rural community and then stay here and work? And so they've had some lawyer shortages, which I know many of y'all that aren't lawyers would probably believe that's a reason to jump on the table and start dancing. But from a practical standpoint, it makes the provision of legal services very difficult for TRLA. So they've started contracting with a couple attorneys. The process has worked very well on two folds. One, it provides a relief so that they can, there's a certain number of cases that TIDC allows criminal defense attorneys to take that are working for indigent defense programs like this. And the second is TRLA has been our contractor for, I think, 20 years or so, maybe 15 years now. And so increasingly, they have issues. They defend our misdemeanors and they defend our felonies. And increasingly, they have conflicts of interest from prior cases or current cases. When 4 people are arrested in a vehicle for allegedly doing something despicable, then TRLA can only represent one of them. That leaves 3 people that the counties have to appoint out. So conflicts is a big issue, and it's a real problem that TRLA has. And allowing TRLA to subcontract with private attorneys allows for the contract money that we're spending for TRLA to cover the cost of defense for these individuals that are conflicted, that TRLA is conflicted out from, without the counties having to pay a private attorney out of pocket. Usually speaking, if TRLA has a conflict, then I have to appoint an attorney to represent that defendant, and I pay that amount in addition to the amount that we pay for this TRLA contract. That's what I thought paragraph 13 was about, so I changed it to specify that, but I was wrong. What TRLA is looking at doing, and wants to have in this contract, the ability to do so, is to assign this contract and their other criminal indigent defense contracts. I think they cover, their service covers about 10 counties or so now, to a subsidiary, a wholly owned subsidiary of TRLA that is solely focused on criminal indigent defense. As it stands right now, the vast majority of TRLA's community efforts statewide relate to civil legal issues, probates, family law, child custody, child support, guardianships. These matters that, if as the vast majority of us don't have an account for lawyers, those needs still arise, and TRLA steps in and does an excellent job of that throughout the regions that it serves. So the assignment language that we're going to ultimately agree to, subject to the approval of the court with my process, would be to provide the right of TRLA to assign this contract to a wholly owned subsidiary or a majority-owned subsidiary of TRLA for the purpose of separating out the criminal defense from their regular stuff, so they can focus more on it and tailor those programs and their financial structure more appropriately for criminal defense process.
Interesting.
So, is that too much information, or
no, it's
a lot of
great
glazed eyes
explanation.
again?
So you need to.
So all I'm asking, if the will of the court is to approve the contract, I would ask that the court, I would entertain a motion to approve the contract subject to final review and acceptance of revisions in negotiations on paragraph 13 and acceptance by TRLA of all the revisions that I've made.
Make a motion to approve said contract with whatever revisions necessary to be extended to the county judge at his discretion.
Thanks, Commissioner. I have a motion and a second. I don't know who you think caught that second, Brittany, but I'll let you make that choice. They were both neck and neck.
That way we won't limit it to paragraph.
Okay, yeah, I appreciate that. Is any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Agenda item number 15, approve appointment to the Workforce Solutions Board of Directors to fill vacancy table during the September 11, 2023 regular term meeting. Before I open this agenda item for nominations, we'll do it just the same way we did agenda item number 11. I will say that, and I learned this last week in speaking with the Director of Workforce Solutions, Mr. Trevino, and I'm going to forget, community, it's a CBO. So Workforce Solutions of the Coastal Bend is subject to oversight by the Texas Workforce Commission. The Board of Directors of Workforce Solutions of the Coastal Bend is a relatively large board, 15 to 20 members, and each of those members fills a certain category of the oh, thanks. Oh, thank you. Yes. Fills a certain category of the community. So you have public members of public entities, public government. You have private industry seats, and those seats need to be filled by individuals who are in private industry. And you also have CBO representatives and organized labor representatives. CBO, what is it? It's got to mean something. Where is it?
It's right above it.
Yeah, but doesn't it? God, thank you. Community-based organization and organized labor representatives, that is the seat that we need to fill. And so after some interest and discussion and then an understanding of the seat that we have to fill, I did reach out to Randy Seitz late last week, and Randy is the director, the CEO, I'm not sure what his formal title is, of B Area Partnerships. Thank you, Commissioner Legatus. He's our Chief Economic Officer. That is a community-based organization that is focused on trying to bring new business and new opportunities for our residents into the county. And so at this time, I'd open the floor to nominations. And if you have any questions or discussion, we can do that as well, but I would nominate Randy Sides. Are there any other nominations? Any other questions, discussion at all?
Second.
Okay, I'd entertain a motion to close nominations.
Make a motion to close the nominations. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
As Mr. Seitz is our only nominee, he is appointed by acclamation. Thank you, Randy, for your willingness to serve. It's a really, really neat organization, and the two members of Peake County that are on the board of directors are Dr. Justin Hoggart, Coastal Bend College president, and Randy Seitz, and I think they'll serve us well. Randy Seitz is replacing Tracy Florence, who was our chamber director, and then she relocated for work purposes. She still is a Peake County resident, but she relocated down to Portland to take over their Chamber of Commerce. So Randy's got big shoes to fill, but I'm sure he'll do well. Okay, so instead of acclamation, I just want to make sure that we do it right. I'd entertain a motion to appoint Randy Seitz to the Workforce Solutions Board of Directors.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. I'd hate to have just done it by acclamation and then hear later that that's not sufficient. Moving on, agenda item number 16, approved bid for air conditioning unit at the Langley Building. Commissioner Farias, you have the floor.
Okay, Judge, Commissioners, these are 3 bids that came out. 2 are local bids, and one correction on the 3rd bid. It does include a 5-ton unit, just like the others. They were all told the same thing.
That one I saw.
Yeah, it is a 5-ton. Yeah, it's a 5-ton unit, just like the All Seasons and Mojanes. Now, the first bid with JL Squared, he has decided to go with a no bid. So he withdrew. Yeah, he withdrew.
Okay.
All right, that's where they're at. The other 2 are local. I'm going to recommend that we go with the Mojanes Enterprises LLC for the total amount of $14,550, which includes the electrical on there.
I have a motion and a second. Further discussion? That is a low bid.
Yes, sir.
There's no further discussion. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen.
An observation, if I could.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have, what's it called, Madam Marshal, we have pre-approved bidders.
Co-op.
Co-op. And our co-op bidder was twice all the others. Is that correct?
Yes, what I understood is that he had construction built in. Is that not correct?
Yes.
That he had some construction and the other 2 did not?
No, they all had the same set of instructions.
And
Because
that's
that was my,
Your take on
that he had, since he's a contractor also, that, because in this, there's gonna have to be some construction
right.
in with it.
I think we're all
So,
gonna take care of that, but my
no,
concern-
not all of them are going to take care of that, sir.
Well,
The other 2 aren't contractors.
let me back up and finish. My concern is that we have these pre-approved bidders that we go to because we don't have to get bids. But when you see the differences come in this big, it makes me pause. That's all I'm gonna say.
You said they all got the same instructions?
Yes, sir. But when you get on the co-op and they're federally approved bidders, they have right leeway.
I commend you for getting this.
And it's also local, so they're local taxpayers, their employees are local, they spend locally. So I'm pretty proud of that. And then some of the roof are the same way on the landing building, and so is the fence builder. They're local people that we use here in town, that we try to do as much as we can here in town before we go out.
Yeah, this is great. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Agenda item number 17, approved fiscal year 2024 sheriff's and constables fees report.
Approve.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 18, approve request for comp time payout for the sheriff's office and jail. I have a motion to approve and a second. Any further discussion?
It's my understanding that beginning in October 1 that we will no longer be doing it like this. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Paycheck. Which is good.
There's no further discussion. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 19, approve scheduled service agreement between B County and Train for the maintenance and service of the air conditioning system at the B County Law Enforcement Center.
Move to approve the comment.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. Commissioner DeWitt, you have the floor.
As large and as complex as this system is, this is, in my opinion, necessary. For us to try to remember to do all these things and have somebody change the filters and all this, it just doesn't happen. And I noticed in the proposal that there's a service fee discount of 3% if we pay upfront for a year. Is that something the court would want to do? Is that, Madam Auditor, is that something we want to do? It would save us $1,496.52.
Definitely.
Okay, that would be part of my motion, we go ahead and pay the amount upfront, not pay it monthly.
So I have an amended motion and a second, and it would be
And the actual amount is $49,884
minus.
minus the $1,496.52. That's 3% discount. Is that something we want to do, Madam Mark?
Yeah.
Okay, I think so. We have to pay it anyway.
We always want to say
And
that.
it's less expensive to write one check for just 12.
Less things for me to have to say.
Absolutely. Trying to help you out,
I
Dave.
appreciate that.
But
Okay.
I really, the work that y'all did putting this together is outstanding, Mr. Chief Deputy. Please pass that along to the folks that did this, because this is a very comprehensive contract, and it's necessary. It really is.
Stacy.
Yes, sir.
It was Ms. Yanta, is that correct? Tell her she did good.
Good job.
She won't believe it. Yes.
All right, if there's no further discussion, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 20, approve recommendation to award request for proposal number 22/23-014, tax office extension rebid. Commissioner Farias.
All right. We had two contractors that we scored and applied for this new job here. One was Sadie Birch LLC, and the other one was Adaptive Industrial Services. And as you see your score sheets before you, Adaptive was the higher score of the two, and also interviewed well. And that amount for that is $484,691.83. And there's a $23,000 deductive alternate on there, which we might decide to go ahead and include on this, and that's removal of the safe door. And I think that we can take that off and, no, leave it on it?
On the wall, not the safe door, that was taking out the wall.
Taking out the wall to extend that?
You saying you don't want to take that out now?
You like your safe door?
Leave it in?
No, leave the safe door. No, they want to knock out a wall in the back so Craig can have more space as far as that goes. So we busting out the wall, framing it up. Am I correct?
Are you saying leave it in or take it out?
The door?
No, this bid alternate here. Yes or no?
The wall. Oh, I have, in that room that's existing, I have items stored in there.
So it's
Store
no?
wall items.
She wants to leave it in.
Oh, leave it in.
Yes.
Yeah, just,
It's not
Okay.
cost effective.
Leave it
Well,
in.
there's no,
Okay.
there's no, I mean, the space that we have is,
Okay.
Yes.
I was confused.
yeah, $23,000 is a lot.
Yeah.
So deduct the $23,000. Accept the deduct of $23,000.
yes, accept the deduct of the $23,000. So it'll be the new number will be $484,691.83. We're not gonna add that. She's got those records in there. That's not necessary. She's got
We're
those.
not doing
No,
Not
sir.
doing that.
No, we're not doing.
You're happy with not doing that?
I love saving money.
So the motion is to approve the bid
Of $484,691.83
From adaptive services.
from adaptive services.
Industrial services. Okay, I have the, who did the motion? You did the motion, who did the second? Yes, you amended your motion. Well, I don't know that you-
No, well, that's the first number that I
Okay.
used right there.
So we're good.
The 484,691.
All right, it's clear as mud. Everybody knows what we're voting on?
Oh, there's one comment.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mercer.
Even though we're not, if you want to be up to $23,000, keep in mind that we still need to get the door off of that safe for safety purposes. So we can figure out some way, somebody to take care of that door.
Mr. Mercer,
Yes.
can't we just weld the pins open to where they cannot be shut? Or maybe somebody can go in there and tack weld it, just a fix that won't cost the county or the taxpayers that much money. No, I mean, where we can't shut it, nobody can get locked in there by accident.
Yeah, we don't want that.
Is there anything in there that you want to secure?
Because right now, if you close that door.
That's how you make it fire safe for those
Yeah, that was something else, I
They
guess.
just stand open all the time.
Okay, so we still, so we need to address the
safe
door. That thing's gotta be worth a bunch of money.
Some banks
Or
are.
screw
We
it.
can load it closed.
Yes, yes, she can take what doesn't need to be secured out of there and just have unsecured so that we can leave that door open. They can figure out a way to.
I look forward
The
to
concern,
hearing
the
the
safety
solution.
concern is when somebody closes it and we can't open it again. I don't know if there's.
Yeah, that might not be
Air
necessarily.
supply.
I just run over them all the time. It's scary to be in there and think somebody's gonna come, because it was a garbage can that held it, and that garbage can was smushed.
The safety concern is once it gets moving, it takes an effort to get it to stop.
Yes.
Oh, so
It does.
One of the
injury.
little ladies
Very
gets
heavy.
in there and gets a hand caught in between.
Okay, well,
What
that's
did
a,
you
that is
say
a
the other
problem.
day, a trash can or something got,
Oh, yes.
and it just crushed it?
Oh, it's crushed. That's what used to keep it
How much
from
does
hitting
it
the
weigh?
wall.
It's heavy.
Oh, it's heavy.
Probably a ton.
A ton? Okay.
And nobody would want it for scrap?
Yeah,
Hey,
I just
we'll
do it.
charge you.
Get it out.
Yeah,
we
you
don't-
got your
I don't know
truck?
how you're gonna get that out of that.
Yes.
You probably have to take out a bay window or something to, just to remove it.
Open, but against the wall, yeah.
Okay, well, this is interesting.
Make it too easy.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Congratulations to Adaptive Industrial Services, and thank you all for your work on scoring that stuff.
I will get the contracts put together, send them to the contractor to sign, get them back to the county for the final execution.
Excellent, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
And we'll schedule a pre-construction meeting.
Wonderful, thank you. Agenda item number 21, approve outside auditors engagement letter between B County and Patillo, Brown, and Hill LLP for the fiscal year 2023 audit. Madam Auditor, you have the floor.
This is our new audit firm that has submitted a engagement letter. They will be here to conduct their interim services with us in November. And hopefully next year we'll have it earlier like we used to. But we've already talked to them and they're really looking forward to working with them. And our lead is John Manning, and he's been very helpful.
Excellent.
This is already in the budget.
I'd entertain a motion.
So move.
I have a motion to approve. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 22, approve Kyocera copier agreement for Sheriff's Office Jail. Madam Auditor, this is,
So the jail needs another copier. The copier that, on our original Kyocera contract, they threw in an extra copier that's been being utilized by the JPs exclusively. And so it's being kept in the little judge's area that's there in that corner. So the jail isn't able to really utilize it, and they need that extra in one of the main areas. Is that correct?
Yes, it's, when we first designed the facility, there was one in jail admin, and one in the jail. Well, that jail admin one ended up to help the JPs, ended up in the courtroom. And it's exclusively theirs, and it's gave them 4 doors to get through. It just doesn't make sense. So the jail admin just do all your stuff in the jail and just go ahead and get it. That doesn't make sense. You have a lot of sensitive information with U.S. Marshals. Discipline. You gotta make sure this person you do discipline on doesn't look at what's in the computer. It just makes sense. We need our original
Setup.
Move to approve.
Second. I have a motion and multiple seconds. Ms. Brittany, again, you get to choose between Commissioner Lenny and Commissioner Osgadas.
I notice it's $106.53 a month and 2,500 copies, and anything over that is 1 cent, no color.
No color, great. And also, they're going to, they'll move it into our main contract at the end.
Great.
So it'll be
Good. Because we have another contract too that's sort of an outlier.
There's
with
a-
our main contract.
yes,
And
yes.
you said no color. Does that mean the machine is only a black and white machine?
It is, yes.
Excellent.
Right, because they already have, they already have a machine.
Yeah.
we don't use unless we really.
Correct.
Glad to hear. Yeah, that could really get
Thank
run
you. I
away
like to hear that.
on the cost. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 23, approve Halo Flight Guardian Plan renewal for fiscal year 2023-2024. Mr. Castillo, good morning, sir. You have, it's still morning, right? You have the floor.
Good morning, I'm the study chart director. Basically, this is just the renewal of our membership. It was already approved in budget, but this is the contract for it. The cost did go up a little bit. We were paying 15, but everything's going up over time, so 25 is the cost. But just to make you all aware, I did talk with them just to get an idea of Halo Flight here in our county. And as of July 31st, there were a total of 90 flights that came out of the county. So 90 people benefited from this service being so close to us. I, as an employee of the county, really would love to thank the board for putting this as a benefit for us. And I know that those who've used it, employees of the county in the past, are really grateful for it because speaking with them, they said it's about $35,000 to $45,000 to get this helicopter off the ground. And if we even just pay 20% of that through our insurance, we'll get about $9,000. So it is a huge savings for us. We never would want to use it, but it's just nice to know it's here.
The one thing I would like to add is, this includes the entire family of that employee.
The whole household.
The whole
It's a
household.
permanent resident, yes.
So that's a really good thing. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, we've had 1 or 2 people that actually used it.
Over the past few years since we've had this, we've had a few use it with the county employees. They said that as of July 31st, they have no indication of anybody as an employee using it out of those 90, but 90 individuals in the community have.
Awesome. I move to approve.
Second. I have a motion in a couple seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Mr. Castillo. Agenda item number 24, approve Texas Association of Counties Workers' Compensation Renewal Questionnaire. Mr. Castillo, you have the floor.
Again, Commissioner Judge, this is just to renew our workers' comp contract with TAC. The numbers have been updated that you're looking at there. Basically, the way this one works is that we give them our projected numbers once we figure out what our budget is, and they base everything off of that. At the end of the year, they ask for the true numbers of what actually happened, and then there's an offset, or we pay more depending what happens at the end of the year.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you again, gentlemen. Thank you again, Mr. Castillo. We've already addressed agenda items number 25 and 26. We'll move on to agenda item number 27, approve Texas opioid settlement agreements. We have no settlement agreements to approve, so we'll move on to agenda item number 28, Hurricane Harvey, Texas General Land Office, GLO, Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, status and project update. Commissioner Zoligatis, Commissioner Farias, any update?
At this time, no. I've talked to Natalie, and she said they're still working on it as far as that goes.
All right, thank you all very much. Moving on, agenda item number 29, American Rescue Plan, ARP, status and projects. Commissioners DeWitt, Commissioner Lay. Okay.
We've got our money in the bank.
Excellent, excellent. It's earning some interest.
Yes, it is.
At a high rate, 5.3.
5 point, oh my goodness. Wow, awesome.
You've been so quiet all day today, but then
It
right
just makes
here,
me-
it
it
just,
makes me giddy when I
it makes
hear
her
it.
smile. She's beaming.
Yes, it's because it's great. That's wonderful.
I'd like to thank everybody for being here today. It was a long meeting, but it was a good meeting, productive. I appreciate it. I appreciate the commissioners. We have no executive session items. Move on to agenda item number 30, adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. We are adjourned. Thank you all very much. Have a great week.
Thank you, Mr. Mercer.